couldn't just keep your mouth shut. You couldn't just play along.
Jeremy Blaire is one of the most important characters to the events of the game Outlast, even though we don't encounter him personally until the events of the first DLC for that game, entitled Whistleblower. Blaire is the highest-ranking Murkoff employee that we encounter in the game, being the Executive Vice President of Global Development. But beyond that, he's also the head of the Mount Massive Asylum and the corporate lead of Project Walrider. So Blaire is pretty essential in bringing about the state in which you see the Mount Massive Asylum during your journey.
They killed us. You got out. The variants. You can't fight them. You have to hide. You can unlock the main doors from security and control. You have to get the fuck out of this terrible place.
The story of Jeremy Blaire as we know it begins with his affiliation to the Murkoff Corporation, the shadowy transnational company that hides their seedy business ventures behind a veil of seemingly charitable actions. While we don't know much about Blaire's past beyond his position with Murkoff, he seems to embody their ideals and works hard to keep the powerful organization's true motives in the shadows. In 2009, the Murkoff Corporation purchased the Mount Massive Asylum, an abandoned asylum in Colorado that had ties to a questionable project from the CIA known as Project MK-Ultra. Murkoff was interested in picking up what little pieces of the MK-Ultra project that they could from the now defunct Mount Massive, and funneling that information into what would become Project Walrider. Murkoff reopened the asylum and brought in hundreds of new patients to fill its cells, and be used as unwilling test subjects for their experiments. Security forces and paramilitary teams were brought in to protect the secrets of the asylum from prying eyes, and Jeremy Blaire was appointed as the head of that asylum, to take charge of Project Walrider and report its findings back to Murkoff. Blaire ruled the asylum with an unwavering dedication to Murkoff's reputation, crushing those who asked a few too many questions or attempted to expose the happenings of the asylum by decrying them as insane and having them institutionalized in the walls of Mount Massive. It's unclear just how many people met with this fate, but it was a seemingly fairly common occurrence, often being tagged with the label of psychopathic proximity disorder. The implication being that, by being in such close proximity with the patients of Mount Massive, it was triggering underlying issues within the employees as well.
Mr. Park, will you willingly submit to forced confinement? Did you hear that, Agent?
He said yes, Mr. Blaire.
Great. Oh, and did I just hear Mr. Wayland Park volunteer for the morphogenic engine program?
That's what I heard, Mr. Blaire.
That was brave indeed, Wayland. The Murkoff Corporation...
While Jeremy Blaire himself might not be the most scientifically gifted individual, in fact, in an email to Richard Traeger, he even says that he doesn't know ppm from a kick in the teeth, Blaire's role as overseer of Project Walrider was probably more geared towards ensuring that Murkoff saw results. Even if those results came at the cost of human life, Blaire was more than willing to make that sacrifice. Blaire's ruthlessness towards achieving success with Project Walrider is told to us time and again, with implications that there may be nothing so sacred that Blaire wouldn't sacrifice it for the profits of Murkoff. For starters, when Blaire finds out that Wayland Park has leaked information to the press about what's happening in the asylum, not only does Blaire institutionalize Park in a mocking manner, but he also goes to Park's house himself and meets with his wife and two sons to tell them of Wayland's institutionalization. This act in and of itself tells us just how unfeeling and remorseless he truly is, not only meeting with Wayland's wife Lisa and their sons, but also blackmailing her not to fight Wayland's diagnosis, threatening her with crippling medical debt if it were discovered that Whalen had lied to Murkoff about his insanity and resigned under those false pretenses.
Open those eyes. You don't have to wake up, but open your eyes. What's the matter? Somebody hit you?
This is essentially everything that we know about the man behind the Mount Massive Asylum. The highest Murkoff employee that we meet in the game, Jeremy Blaire, is truly a twisted individual. Willing to do everything from lie to the wife of a colleague to subjecting a close friend of his to excruciating mental trauma, there is seemingly nothing that Blaire won't do to bring about success for Murkoff. And though in the end he may see some karmic justice, his experiments while in control of Mount Massive did see results. And wasn't that truly what he was after all along?
Help me up. Please? Fucking die! No one can know! No one!